there was a lot of discussion as to who would be appropriate to round off this event. We wanted somebody of stature. That's what they had to be. I don't think we could have got anybody better than our final guest. He's no stranger to CAHN. He's a Lord, that's correct, and needs no introduction. He's been a tremendous supporter and guidance to CAHN, and he will be offering some closing remarks. In fact, I hope he gets time to tell us how he became a Lord, by the way, because it happened in about 48 hours, if I've got the story correct. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lord Simon Whoolley.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Brother Mike. And thank you, Charles. And what a wonderful evening. You know, this time last year, I was with you. I was with you in that beautiful cathedral. And I was thinking about, I mustn't miss my train back home. Charles said to me, listen, brother, you know the Black culture. We have to feed you before you go. And I said, I don't want to miss my train. They said, hold on a second. I think he called Evelyn or one of the team. He said, look, we must get Simon the package. So he goes back on the train with the food that he cooked. And I shared a wonderful evening, got back on the train, opened up my food, and just ate glorious food that I suspect the sisters made, by the way. But I was very happy, and it was a no-brainer for me to be part of this Black History Month session today. And what a wonderful evening. What a wonderful evening on so many levels. And thank you, Charles, and the team. Mike, you know, you're a sterling host. You keep things flowing, you can feel your smile, you can feel your heart, your essence. I want to thank you for that. But above all, I want to thank what the organizers have attempted to do tonight. Think about this for a second. You know, normally when you talk about Black History Month, that we focus on food, we might focus on sport, we might focus on music. All of that is beautiful, by the way. But Charles said, no, we need to do more than that. We need to open up avenues, open up opportunities that ordinarily we're not thinking about. And so when I heard that those brilliant, if you like, trailblazers in genetics, our sister Sasha and Dr. Zena said, look, this is for us too. And when we engage, brilliant things happen. Because what we bring to the table is not there unless we are there. Charles, Mike, I love that so much because, you know, this is our country, this is our society. And yet, too often, as many of your speakers have highlighted today, that it's rigged against us. We get herded down a particular path. We get blinded by the opportunities that we deserve. And what you have done today is said we can be bigger than that. We're broader than that. We're bolder than that. We're more creative than what even people think that we can do. And this is what the platform of Black History Month affords us, to come together, to celebrate, but to demand more. This year, 2020, Mike, has been an extraordinary year. A year that unfolded with a global pandemic, that a minister in the House of Lords, we'll talk about the House of Lords in a second, if we have time, but the minister in the House of Lords said, COVID-19 is a racist disease. And I said to the minister, my honorable friend, that's how you talk in the House of Lords, my honorable friend, this is not a racist disease. No disease is racist. What this disease has done has laid bare facets of our society that are deeply racist. That our brothers and sisters are at the front line. We saw the beautiful play of the Windrush generation that came and gave life, gave birth to the National Health Service. Like my mother, who came here in the 50s, gave her best years to the NHS. Her generation built the NHS. Future generations became overly exposed to COVID-19 because they weren't protected. They, along with bus drivers, security guards, porters, nurses, care workers, were at the front line without protection. This disease, this deadly disease, has exposed the inequalities. Along with that, we saw the murder. We saw the brutal murder by law enforcement officers of our brother, George Floyd, dying in 8 minutes in front of our eyes. We had a perfect storm, and this perfect storm convulsed the whole world. And in that convulsion, we took to the streets in Manchester, in London, in Birmingham, in New York, all over the world. Not to ask for justice, not to ask for equality, but demand it. Demand it. We deserve it. We must demand it. And it's changed the game. It must change the way that we look at ourselves. It must change the way that we demand from our society, our government. I am pleased, by the way, of Andy Burnham, who came to me and Charles direct and said this: if Black Lives Matter is to matter, then I want more Black people in my city to demand leadership roles. And I've been brought in, and I will develop, nurture, demand, cajole a new generation, Mike, of Black leaders to be in all areas, at all levels of your city. Not because it's the right thing to do, because it's what we deserve. And we are successful when Dr. Zenni and Sasha is successful in their fields. Hear this, Mike. We're all successful. We're all successful. We're all enriched. We're all touched. We're all moved. Part of me regrets that. When I came on to the space, there's about 120, and now there are only 76. But Mike, I'm an activist. I'm used to traveling around the country, and I will speak to one man and his dog if we can make a difference. I am speaking to 76 activists, disciples of Dr. Martin Luther King. Elaine, Mohammed, I can see some of your names. Remember this. Yes, Mohammed, wake up. What's the matter with you, brother? Dr. King, in his 63rd anniversary of that wonderful dream, Mohammed, Elaine, Mike, he had more than a dream. He had a plan. And step one of that plan was to empower African Americans to be in a situation where we're not asking for justice, we are demanding it. I am saying to all of you, 76 disciples of Dr. Martin Luther King, join me arm in arm, like they did on that walk in Selma, Alabama, crossing the bridge. You join me in that march. And I promise you that the arc of justice bends towards us. We are God's people. We are the moral majority. We have the spiritual majority. We have the creativity majority. By the way, this is our time. Now, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of owning your leadership role. If you want, Mike, you tell them Simon says. Simon says, own your leadership role. I'm coming to Manchester with a leadership scheme. I want a queue around the corner, around the block. I'm telling you, you'll be genetics like Sasha, like Zena. I'm telling you, you'll be MPs. You'll be councillors, you'll be magistrates, you'll be school governors, you'll be business entrepreneurs. You'll be like Mr. Shaft, super cool. And I promise you this, we'll change our world.